Jake, 3 changes. Obviously part of the rotation to a certain degree.
No, well, I mean, similar. They just picked the side they played against the Bulls. You know, the reality was we had sort of 2 tough games in Africa, and wanted to give Dan Palmer a bit of a break in that game and start Leon Power in that game. So just go back to what worked against the Bulls in terms of, you know, that combination.
Ben Mullen's back. He's had a scan on his neck. Everything seems to be okay.
Yeah, all good. I mean, you know, again, he could have probably played last week, but you know, all credit to him. He just thought that it would be better for him to have a week off, and you know, obviously every boy wants to play, but you know, he just said that he thought that would be good for him to be fresh against the Waratahs, which is obviously a massive game for us. So yeah, I mean, he's back. Everyone's fine, and you know, nothing untoward with the scan that came back.
Obviously, players have come back from South Africa, and they say that it's always harder coming back this way in terms of energy levels. You know, the players, as far as you're concerned, fully recovered from it.
Well, you know, I mean, one of the things we do, we've worked really hard with the Institute of Sport, and they've done some sleep tests with us, and you know, we've had some sleep bands in the pre-season and worked out all the sleeping patterns and all that sort of stuff. So, again, I mean, the professional edge we've got from the Institute of Sport, and whatever they've advised us in terms of coming back and getting into Australian time quickly as possible are the things that we've been working on. So, I mean, literally straight after the game, getting back to the hotel in Johannesburg, we try to get to Australian time as quickly as possible to give ourselves a fair crack at producing a result this weekend.
So it's not going to be a disadvantage at all coming back?
Well, I mean, Tim, it's very difficult for me to say that. You know, I mean, the reality is it's always going to, if you look at the history of the competition, teams that come back generally struggle. So we've done everything we could to make sure that whatever added science we could get and all the advantage we could get, you know, whether it be a little amount, that we take advantage of what we can get from the chaps who helped us.
Are there things that you haven't done before, Jake, that you haven't seen done before? Like you talked about the AIS.
But there are a lot of things. I mean, when I say from when I got here, one of the things that we really worked hard on is getting a joint venture with the Institute of Sport. I know it's always been a sort of friendship thing, and we know we've had them around the corner, and I suppose in a lot of ways we've had that intellectual property at our disposal, but it's been more of an ad hoc basis, whereas this year is a lot more formal. As I said, I mean, we've got full-time nutrition. Greg helps us, you know, Alison, who comes from the AIS, helps us as well. I look at pre and post-game stuff that we have to do, drinks and supplements we have to take. I mean, and again, as you say, a lot of those things are just giving us the edge in terms of a program that we want to make the best in Australia.
In terms of jet lag, like any new things that you haven't seen talked about getting back on Australia?
Well, one of those things was exactly that, post the game, just making sure that, you know, whatever, I don't want to give all the trade secrets away, otherwise everyone will be doing them, but, you know, bottom line is we were told what we had to do, and boys bought in, and they've done whatever they had to do to make sure that, as I said, just give ourselves a fair crack at this weekend, playing against the Waratahs at home, and we just want to make sure that we don't leave anything, you know, that we need to do not done.
Is this a season-defining game, Jack?
I think, I mean, again, it's a cliche, every game is massive, but I think in the context of this it's probably season-defining more so for them than it is for us. You know, the reality is we've read that they know that this is make or break for them, and with that comes added pressure to us. So, you know, I mean, we're not focusing just because it's the Waratahs. We've been going well. You know, we know that our game's improved every week. You know, we're very confident that if we play the way we can, as I said, we can always beat any team that we play against. So, not make or break, I don't think, for anybody. For us, just making sure that we focus. We don't want to put more pressure than we need.
It's been a very good period, hasn't it, in terms of player re-signings? Been over 10 in the past fortnight. Good to see that, you know, this group who are doing so well early on is keen to stay on board.
Well, I said, you know, when I started, that one of the things we want to try and do is create some momentum, make sure that there's a bit of a plan going forward for 4 years. You know, I mean, take this young group of players, as I said, a lot of them have played for the Wallaby Juniors, and if they've been the best in Australia at junior level, there's no reason why we can't turn them into the best in terms of Australian senior level. So, yeah, I mean, for me, it's wonderful. I think it's great that players are feeling that they want to stay part of something like this. I mean, a lot of players you read obviously saying that they're happy, and that's very important. So, yeah, I mean, it's a special time. I think from a coach's point of view, the thing that's the most pleasing is there's just a reward for all the effort they put in. You know, as a coach, you always speak about make sure you work hard, make sure you're dedicated, make sure that you do everything you have to. And I suppose the reality is they're getting the rewards they deserve because they've been putting the effort in since July.
Jake, the Tars are 5 points behind you. Is that an accurate reflection of where you guys are, or the difference in the team?
Well, I don't know. Tars, I think the Reds are also 5 points behind us, so it's no accurate thing about. And again, Crystal, it's not a. I know that everyone wants to build up the TARs, and everyone wants to know, is this the TAR week, and everyone wants to know. I mean, the reality is this is a week back from South Africa. You know, we're very happy where we are. We know that had people said to us in week 10, you're going to be top of your conference, had people said to us, the odds on the bookies, whatever they are, even money, I mean, people would have laughed 6 months, 7 months ago. So, I mean, for us, it's not a case where the TARs are, it's not a case where the Reds are. We're just going to make sure that every performance we have is as good as it can be. We present ourselves as best we can on the field and make sure that, as I said, every time we play against someone, we get better.
Jake, in the past, 10 years ago and even sooner, I mean, players virtually came out and declared war against New South Wales in the week leading up to playing New South Wales, but it's been pretty low key this week, and I guess it's a sign of maturing in a way that you're just sort of getting on and focusing on your game.
Well, I think, Tim, that's probably what I've been saying the whole time in this press conference, is it's not a war against the Waratahs. You know, the reality is it's another game. You know, if they're desperate, we know they're desperate. They know they need to win. They're going to come with everything they have. We don't expect anything different. That's happened in the past. You know, for us to make it a bigger game than it is, I mean, we played the Highlanders, were unbeaten, that was massive for us. We played the Bulls at Loftus, it was massive for us. And we played the Rebels, who needed a win, that was massive for us because we weren't expected to lose that game. You know, then we played the Lions, and everyone expected us to get 5 points. So what I'm saying is this group every week have had to sort of adjust to the pressures that come. And the pressures now are, Waratahs are desperate. Waratahs are always a massive game. Waratahs are, you know, always declared war in the two franchises. I mean, all those things are obviously part of the way the history of the organisation is, but you're right. I mean, I don't want to get distracted about the fact that let's just do what we do, let's see how we play, and if we do everything we play and we do everything that we've done in the past, I'm talking about this season, there's no reason why we can't win this game, and that's all we're focusing on.
Jay, just on Christian Waratahs, obviously it's tracking very well, but
Yep.
how significant will this game be in terms of shoring up Wallabies jersey against Barry Barnes?
Look, I'd like to believe that what Christian showed in the last couple of weeks is going to get judged on one Saturday against Barry Barnes. You know, I think that anyone who's watched him play the whole season knows that, you know, well, I'd like to believe that he's not going to get judged on one performance. You know, so he just got to keep doing what he's doing, and I'm sure, you know, as I said, if he just focuses on those things, and I know I keep repeating myself, then everything will fall into place. You know, as soon as we start worrying about who we're playing against and who he's marking and what the team looks like and who they picked and who's on the bench and what that guy said last week and all that sort of thing, we're going to lose focus on what we're good at, and that's making sure we present ourselves at a game.
Stephen Moore on Monday said it's going to be one of the biggest games for most of the younger kids coming through. I mean, talk of 20,000. I mean, how do you keep them level for this big one?
Well,
against?
again, I mean, I remember Sam saying to me at Suncorp, this is massive, you know. Then he went to Loftus and he said, this is bigger, you know. Now we get to a home ground, there's 20,000 in Canberra, so I'm afraid to think what he's going to tell me when he runs out on Saturday. But, yeah, I mean, isn't it exciting? I mean, that's what's so nice about it. We play rugby because we want 20,000 home fans to be there. We play rugby because we want to be in a situation where it's do or die against the Waratahs. I mean, those are the reasons why, I suppose, why we play. We want to be judged against those people. So, I mean, what better environment to be in than get an opportunity to play in 20,000 people in front of you against the Waratahs at home? I mean, gee, that's I suppose what young boys dream of.
Jake, do you feel as though your side is developing a little bit and a little more patient with that phase football? And we saw it on the weekend with the patience in building up, and you'll need it this weekend against the Waratahs, won't you?
Yeah, I think, Tim, you know, you watch the practice now as well. The thing that I'm sensing is that there's a lot more confidence. They understand exactly what they've got to do. I mean, I just stood there and I mean, the session we had was fantastic. Everyone knows exactly there's talk. You know, I spoke to Laurie about it, and Steve always said, you know, happy team is a team that makes a lot of noise, a team that talks a lot of practice, and there was a lot of talk out there, a lot of energy, a lot of excitement, and that's part of the fact. Not only because they're doing well, but because they understand what they've got to do, they understand what's coming, they're confident, like you're saying, the way we want to play, and like you rightly say, you know, they're patient. We probably you know, tossed a couple of tries away last weekend against the Lions, but yet we still scored 6. So I think that's exciting because they know that if they really just stay patient, stick to what they do, stick to their strengths, let the players who control the game control it, well, then we will get the rewards at the end. And that's a fantastic situation to be in. I mean, as I said, I can't underestimate the fact that where we were in July at Narrabeen all the way to now, and it's phenomenal.
Jack, the history of this rivalry is, you know, often been portrayed as New South Wales is the big brother, Brumbies is the little brother. You've changed a lot about the mindset in this place. Would you like for the Brumbies to shed that and to be comfortable with going into a week like this as being a favourite?
Well, I think, look, if it's going to bring out the best of the Brumbies by saying you're the little brother and you need to obviously fight the big brother, well, then that's fine. But if it's going to, look, you know, what I'm saying is if it's going to detract away from the actual performance, then I really just don't want to discuss it. And I suppose that's what I've mentioned to players. You know, State of Union, lunches, you know, old boys wanting to come back. You know, I've seen this movie before because I taught at a big boys' school, you know. And Founders Days where all the old boys come back, and Founders Days where the captain gives you your jersey the week before, and the last team that was successful come down to form a tunnel for the boys to run out. I mean, inevitably what happens is you get thumped, you know. And the reason for it is because all the things that are sideshows become more important than the actual fixture. So it's not something new to me. I'm just making sure the players are aware of the fact that whatever happens around us, it's fantastic. It's wonderful that those old players are here. It's wonderful that they have energy. It's wonderful that they obviously send messages and all that sort of thing. And more so this week than any other game, which is obviously understandable. But at the same time, I think with my experience and what I come with from South Africa is we don't want to be losing a game because we're more worried about things that we can't control. The things we can control is the way we play, the way we practice, the way we get to the game on Saturday. All those things are the things we can control. So, yeah, I mean, as I said, I really just want us to make sure that this is an opportunity for us to make sure we can control the things we want to control.
Okay.
Hang on.
Thanks, Jane.